But yeah, let's talk about the boring shit that happened today on Twitter. Let's talk about the boring shit while I have you guys. How did the content creators go? Hey, did you guys hear what they were talking about on Twitter? And I don't want to call these people idiots, but it's like, bro, can we just be like critical thinkers for once? Can we for once just be critical thinkers? Let me find the source documents. Like, I should know better because I'm a TO and I know how little I want to critical think. But if you're gonna swing your dick about how you're a TO with great power, yada yada yada, you know what I mean? And there's no room for half-stepping. You know why? Because we're talking about taking something away from a group of people that means the world to these people. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Don't you worry your little head. I'm gonna get all the details for you. I'm gonna get the deets. Pokey, please stop talking to me about your Sean, bro. You must stop talking to me about your Sean. Do I have to make a big pause? Is this legible for everyone? I'll make a bigger pause. Alright. Let's discuss. Let's discuss. Can everybody see this shit? Tino, what is up, my boy? Again, for those who are probably new to my voice or whatever, I'm Bunch. I have been a TO for, I think, 11 years now. I haven't taken TOing as serious as I have until right before the pandemic. And then as soon as the pandemic hit, I was forced to run online tournaments for 5 straight years. I used force lightly because I could have just sat on my hands, but I wanted to stay involved. And that was the best way to do it. My team, talked me into it, and I agreed, and they were right. The best way to stay in with everybody was to do online tournaments. So in the height of the pandemic, literally everyone was in panic mode to figure out what's next for the community. So we did the whole, all right, let's get these tournaments off the ground so that people have something to play during the pandemic. We don't know how long this is gonna last. The doctors are saying 2 weeks. I'm thinking it's gonna be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. We wound up in the house for 2.5 years. All right, fine and dandy. This is not an exaggeration. We started March 20th, 2020. That very same day, our event got stepped on. Like, we just decided to start running a tournament on Friday. Me and 10 people who would wind up being like family to me. We were just like, let's run a tournament. And it was great. It wasn't out of hand. It wasn't too little. It really just felt like we were supposed to be doing that. And we did that for 70 straight weeks, right? All the while, we were stepped on by this group that was trying to do yada yada, that group that was trying to do yada yada. That's fine. Do whatever you gotta do. We don't own a day of the week. No one owns a day of the week. I want that to be known throughout the entire time that I'm ranting about this topic. No one owns a day in the week, and you can do whatever it is that you want to do. However, you then need to ask yourself, how important is it that you're doing what you're doing? And is it helpful to be doing what you're doing? If you can answer both of those questions positively, the floor is yours. Throw an event, be amazing, and we'll check in on you in about a week or so. Make sure you're still alive. And hopefully everybody likes what you're doing. I ask around the global FGC. I can ask confidently and say that my brand, the tournaments that my team had run for the past 5 years, were important to the community. We were. That still those two questions that I asked must be asked at all times. So it's like, is what you're doing needed, and does it positively affect the community? And once again, if you can continue to answer that and say yes, cool, dope. I've never put a tournament on top of another tournament except for one time where this person that was running a tournament literally X-copied my event. and I was like, oh hell no. Like down to the ending credits. Like literally probably I don't want to like, let's say allegedly pulled up a VOD and said verbatim, this is how we're gonna do these things. Like even down to the colors. Like I looked at their event and it was black and pink. Like where did you get that from? Even poached some of my talent. And I'm only saying that because it was just like looking in a mirror, except the execution was horrible. And not for nothing, you know, more power to my talent. If they see an opportunity, go get it. You know, if at that point in time we were on hiatus and they were fulfilling a need, go get it. However, I went and got mine. So this was also a time where Wednesdays were wide open, right? Team Spooky had just announced that they were gonna cease operations of online tournaments, and they didn't have to do that anymore. It was a dirty bathroom mirror. But yeah, it was a time of transitioning where like, all right, who's gonna be that Wednesday event for Street Fighter, right? And that dude jumped in and I was like, no. I got prideful, I can't lie. So I stomped that shit out and I got that shit out the paint. Get that shit out of here. That was my only time that I actually went out of my way and stepped on someone else's event. And then we never went on a hiatus after that until I called the most recent one back in late March of this year. So yeah, we went on hiatus, came back, tried to do a monthly. Monthlies don't work online. Just in case I have any aspiring TOs in the chat or watching this video later on down in life. The word is consistency when it comes to online tournaments. And that's sort of important where we're going, right? To get back onto track, right? So every single time I've ever run a tournament, mind you, I started on Friday, right? I started my tournament on Fridays. We ran every Friday for 70 something weeks. I'm talking like during holidays. I think the only Fridays we skipped was like Black Friday. I can't remember if Christmas and New Year's was close to a Friday, but like anything like super holiday related in NA, then sure, we took a break. But we were right back at it maybe like 2 weeks later after the holidays. Like holidays for me was important to make sure that everybody was like, for me, people were using online tournaments as like a scapegoat, as like not a scapegoat, escapism. So they were like, oh, I don't have to engage with people because I'm in this tournament. I have to lock in. So I was like, no. You're not gonna make my tournament the excuse for you to not hang out with your family or whatever. That's my thinking in my head, right? I don't want people looking at my event and being like, oh no, it's Friday. I can't go to holiday thing. You know, go hang out with your grandmother you hate. It's fine. You'll live one day. She's not gonna be here for much longer. You'll be all right. Plus, also, I didn't want to do that to my staff. Like my staff has family that they love. So I was like, we just survived the first year of the pandemic. We're not doing a fucking tournament during the holidays. So yeah, we just bounced right back. Numbers dipped off a little bit, but we picked right back up when people started carrying again. We're still getting stepped on this entire time. You know, when we went to sleep, people were still on the grind. Like that shit is so real. Like when people were like, yo, every day that you skip the gym, someone out there is getting stronger than you and is gonna punch your girlfriend in the face and you're not gonna be prepared and all that shit, you know, like call it what you want, man. I'm not trying to do all of that, brother. Like I am trying to hug my family. I have ways to not make this have to be my livelihood. It would have been cool. It would have been cool to live that lifestyle. There are days where I look at people like Tong Lee who are super successful in this realm. You know, like people like Alex Shabali, super successful. Rick Tejado, super successful. I don't really need to do that. My team didn't need to do that, and that's okay. We were not the chosen ones. They grinded harder. They earned it. Sick. Congrats to them. We'll find another way. This is what I'm doing right now. Finding another way. Another thing that I'm gonna bring up later. Watch. Fast forward, or don't fast forward. The thing that would happen when everybody's stepping on my event is this person and that person want to enter 2 brackets because they want to support me, but they also want to support this other person. So I'm gonna say no. So I'm gonna say, hey man, that's fucked up. That's foul. How could you do that? You know what that person's gonna say? Don't worry about it, man. Like, well, I'll enter your shit next week. You know, like, I appreciate you being honest with me, but I'll enter next week. And then they don't come back, and they have every right to not come back. Cause like, as justified as I am for being like, nah, man, like, you're gonna hold up my bracket, I could also just be like, hey, Tio, would you mind letting me know when this person needs to play on your shit? And vice versa. That way, this person can play in both of our events, and we can both reap the benefits of having such a strong competitor in both of our tournaments. Now, granted, I've gotten both answers. I've gotten the very, very, very small minority of, yeah, I don't really like that. I think this is really gonna negatively impact the tournament scene. And I've gotten the strong majority of, hey, you're right. We are providing a service to the community, and we should work on ways to make this better for both sides. What I'm saying with that is there's ways to do this shit to where everybody can eat. Everybody eats. That's the one thing that all my mentors tell me is like, yo, everybody can eat off this. We just have to figure out a way where everyone can eat properly. With communication, cooperation, coordination, all the Asians. Excuse me, that didn't come out right. We can literally make this happen. I really just said that. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, so, you know, we got people double bracketing some of your favorite players in the whole wide world. 2, sometimes 3 brackets in one day. Biggest culprit, in my opinion, but he was always a sport about it. NuckleDu. NuckleDu always in 2 brackets at one time. At least with me. Because, to be honest, I think I'm the most stepped on TO in all of the past 5 years. People tell me to my face that I'm amongst the most respected, but it be your own kind. It really do be your own kind. You know, I'm working it out. We're making it happen. And one day, I'm not gonna name this player. The player walks up to me, DMs me on Discord and goes, hey man, I'm just a little too stressed out. I want to DQ myself from your tournament because I'm playing in this other tournament and I just feel like I'm getting pulled back and forth, and it's like, the hell am I doing all this for if bro feels like this and getting pulled back and forth? I'm fucking up somewhere. I magically convinced that player to stay in, and I think they win my tournament. I'm pretty sure they won my tournament that night. And I was just like, damn. Imagine if I just said, nah, you know, no worries, man. Don't worry about it. Thanks for trying. I don't know how they did in the other tournament. It's none of my business. But like, I made it a thing to show that other bracket, that other tournament. Hey, this is the DM I got. I got this DM because me and you are not talking. And a week later, me and the head TO of that org figured it out. And we had been working like peanut butter and chocolate from that point on. And like, I would screenshot my top 8, he would screenshot his, and we'd be like, oh, these 5 players are in each other's bracket. Okay, cool. Let's make sure that we know exactly where these players are. And when you need, for example, Punk, I'll let you know when Punk's available. Or when you need NuckleDu, I got you. Dual Kevin, I got you. JB, I got you. Enzo the Hokage, I got you. Cool? Bet. Awesome. I'm out. And then when my event's done, yo, see you next week. And serendipitous, we just made sure nobody ran behind, and if there was a point where one of us was gonna run behind, you know, that that event had a lot of sponsors, so I wanted to make sure that they had matches to play at all times. So I would throw some players to them and then give my team a break because I can dictate the schedule. Or if I just needed to get through something, I just be like, hey, I'm gonna take this guy for a little bit longer, and that TO would just run on the other side of the bracket, and that's fine. It all worked out. It's all a matter of just communicating needs and wants, and just seeing what everybody else needs to do to accomplish the goal of running a tournament on time and getting everybody through. Then we have whatever the fuck they got going on here. So Yurikov, well-known SNK player from New York, top 4 at DIY. Shout out to Yurikov. Starts off by saying, "This needs to be said. Multi-bracketing is whack. TOs need to do something about it." I agree, but I don't think we're agreeing on the same thing that TOs need to be doing. Then Supernoon follows up with a quote tweet and says, "Please please ban double bracketing." I'm gonna hard disagree on this one. I get it. I get the sentiment on this one. Yurikov follows up with, "Seriously, I and others had to wait 30 minutes because someone wanted to join 4 events. Wild." Now, I need to explain something to you people. This is wild. 4 events is wild. That player is insane for trying to get that off. But that player is not wrong. That player is not wrong, and I'll explain to you why. That player is not wrong simply because there's no governing rules set forth by TOs to say what a player can and cannot do with their time. Nor is there a way for you to police that. And the only thing that's left after that is for you to do exactly what I was saying before, which is now you're gonna DQ these players and you're gonna look crazy as the TO, right? You're gonna be thinking you're doing the right thing, right? You're gonna be like, no, you can't enter anything but my tournament. If I see you playing in anything other than my tournament, you're gonna get DQ'd. You know what that's gonna do to you? You know what that's gonna make players do? It's gonna make players do one of two things. They're gonna be like, yeah, buddy. All right, no problem. Never again to your tournament. Or they're going to play in tournaments behind your back, and now you're not gonna know where they are, and they're gonna check in to your bracket mid-set. They're gonna do all of this shit. Now you're gonna be chasing ghosts, looking them up on CFN, right? Be like, oh, you're in a custom room. You're not in my custom room. DQ. And now everybody's gonna be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, why that guy get DQ'd? Oh, he was playing in another tournament. Yeah, but like, just let him finish the match, and then he can come back over here. That all could have been avoided had you just tried to follow, or excuse me, not try to follow. Try to figure out what that player needs as far as like, okay, he wants to. I'm just naming tournaments so it's easier to follow, right? All right, this guy wants to play in FlyQuest, and this guy wants to play in TNS. It's happening both same day, same night, right? Cool. Same game, same night. We're all playing City of the Wolves because these guys are City of the Wolves players. Yurikov goes, yo, I'm playing in FlyQuest and I'm playing in TNS. The responsibility of the bracket runners for those two events is to note that and reach out to the other TO and just say, hey, these are the 50-60 players I have in my bracket that are also playing in your bracket. Can we coordinate to make sure that these players' needs are met? This is no different than what happens at major tournaments. So I don't know why everybody's acting like this is like some new thing that can't happen. Chris G enters 12 games at a bracket, at a tournament, at a major event, and he's walking around with 8 medals on Sunday. I've seen it 15 years. I've watched them do it. It's possible. It is so possible. It's so possible. It's so doable. Why are we pretending like it's this foreign concept that's never been done before? You just have to have patience and cooperation. The main issues are when that player doesn't speak up and say, hey, I'm in 3 brackets. Hey, I'm in 2 brackets. 3 is pushing it on such a level. 4, no. 4 is crazy. Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. What we're not gonna do is tell people what they're gonna do with their time or DQ people simply because you want people to prioritize your event. What I would love to see TOs do, especially online TOs, what I would absolutely love to see online TOs do in the future is coordinate with each other and stop running tournaments on top of each other. And I bet you wouldn't have these problems where players are joining 4 tournaments in a night. And this goes to the big tournaments, the small tournaments. Like there's a reason why TNS has a schedule every week. It's not for their health. Well, it's also for their health because they run 11 tournaments in 7 days, but it's also for attendees of their tournaments, and the rest of the community can know, all right, I could run Granblue on Saturday, but TNS also runs Granblue on Saturday. Maybe I should pick a different day. And then you start looking at the rest of the landscape of the entire FGC, and you're like, oh, there's a Granblue tournament every fucking day of the week. I probably don't need to do a Granblue tournament. But I really want to do a Granblue tournament. But yo, you don't have to do an online Granblue tournament. Find other ways that you can help the Granblue scene in North America or in whatever region you're in. Find another way. We need commentators. We need editors. We need content creators. We need people to run offline brackets to be filled with talented people, with people that want to learn shit. But you just want to run bracket good. Listen, I want to run bracket good. It's my favorite part of running a tournament. It's my favorite part. But I can't just sit here and run tournaments. I need to fulfill a different part of the scene, the community, the culture. I need to find another lane. It's exactly why I stopped running. Because the Street Fighter community doesn't need me. We have Street Fighter Academy on Monday. We have Can Opener on Tuesday. It's happening right now. We have TNS on Wednesday. We have FlyQuest on Thursdays. We don't need another tournament. I'm sorry. There's like for the longest time I've wanted to do like a sports center type of situation where people cover all of those tournaments and like we can literally show off like the highlights of a tournament. Imagine having like a top 10 of all the things that happened, you know, the night before. Granted, you know, the games don't really lend to that these days because everything is very, very cookie cutter. But there are some games where it does get a little swaggy sometimes. And, you know, High Fight wouldn't be where High Fight is if things weren't a little swaggy every now and again. You know, remember he was the highlight reel guy. But you see less and less High Fight clips, and it's more of news and so and such and such. Everyone has to pivot. You're not immune to pivoting. I don't care if you just got into the thing and you're trying to find your way, or you know, you're trying to be the new TNS or whatever, and you really want to be 11 tournaments in 7 days, man. Listen, that's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. It's not it could also not be for you. Find out how you can help TNS. See if you can become a bracket runner. You know, like, see if you can help Street Fighter Academy. See if you can help FlyQuest. See if you can help Can Opener. And I'm just naming Street Fighter people. I don't know the rest of the communities. And that's another thing, is that, like, you need to figure out how many tournaments, or excuse me, what tournaments are running on what days for your game. So if you're a City of the Wolves player, like these guys, their schedule is going to look pretty different from Street Fighter, or Marvel, or Tekken, or Strive, Granblue, so on and so forth. Don't be like these people that are just like, yo, DQ these players, it's the only way. It's not the only way. It's the only way that you know, because you don't want to try and learn how to do something that could be beneficial for everybody and requires some critical thinking. And also, this is something that I heard from somebody I was having a debate with about this situation. Shout outs to Chemex. I'm Chemex. They were, you know, shooting back and forth with me about the whole situation, and it ended with us kind of we kind of dick measured at one point, not gonna lie, and then it got to a point where we were just like, hey, listen, I don't think that I basically said, I'm sorry, I don't want to misgender or whatever. I definitely agree there shouldn't be 4 tournaments at all. That's another issue itself, because if 2 tournaments are already established to start, another one is crazy work. However, I don't know a good way to tell another TO to shut it down if they've built some type of crowd. And then I was like, but you can agree that it's the root problem, and DQing players puts the root problem on the players to figure out, instead of the brand owners having the initial conversation plus critical thinking. And she basically said, oh yeah, it's definitely the root problem to start an additional tournament when there's no one going, when there's one going on, excuse me, if it's in the same region. However, allowing a player to enter your tournament if they're already in one in the same region, I think that they go hand in hand. And I agree. I think it does go hand in hand. I think you're part of the problem if you are letting them sign up for your event and that event. But I think you're a bigger problem if you're just gonna lean on DQing versus taking note and coordinating with that other TO who is quote unquote stepping on your turf. You know, just because you've been doing something longer than the other person doesn't mean that you do it better, but also doesn't mean that they can't run their shit at the same time as you. I'm saying all of this to say you're potentially hurting the entire like landscape of shit if you're just gonna die on that sword forever. Like there's no way to cut through this if you're just gonna be stubborn and not try to find a lane that is conducive and helpful to the scene. Because you running that tournament is actually negatively impacting, in my opinion. I think you as a community need to have that tough conversation. Like it's a tough conversation. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I know people that run offline events and they can't have that difficult conversation. More so because literally it's hard to find venues, and it's hard to move dates around once you find a good venue. With this, all you need is internet. Well, all you need to run a tournament is good internet, a good computer, and free time. After that, it's just critiquing and fine-tuning and making the tournament more exciting and something that the players want to enjoy. Again, why is this the players' fault? I'm missing the point as to why this is the players' fault. From what I'm hearing is that TOs are not willing to play ball. It's not a matter of TOs not wanting to play ball. It's a matter of TOs simply. I'm just gonna keep away from similes. TOs simply just don't want to budge, and they all want to be the man. But like, not everybody can be Kobe. Not everybody can be Jordan. Not everybody can be Shaq. Not everybody can be LeBron. You know, like you gotta. Not everybody can be the one, the top dog, the whatever you want to call it. Go be the best at FGC social media. Go be the best at merch. Go be the best at editing. Go be like, you should be looking at your like profession, the real thing that you do day in and day out, and find the positives from that, and then try to put that into the FGC. If you truly like your job for real, like if you find your job super enjoyable, then you should go out of your way and try to incorporate the FGC into like your profession. And that can be literally anything. If you're an ice sculptor, make a sick design for a major. Glad that you're taking it upon yourself to communicate, even if they're the ops or a competition. I mean, I've been doing it for 5 years. I didn't have a choice. But it's like, also, I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't. I'd be the same as everybody else. I don't want to say as everybody else. I'd be doing more harm to my community than I'd be doing good. That's fucking stupid, right? But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about. It's just like, this shit is so dumb. Like, asking for people to get banned is crazy. Asking people to get DQ'd is one thing. Asking people to get banned is nuts. It's just lazy. And the only real reason why I'm harping on this so hard is because one thing with players is that they have a lot more influence than they think, right? Somebody's gonna see this guy's tweet, this quote retweet, and be like, dude, I want Super Noon to join my tournaments, bro. I gotta show him that this is zero tolerance over here. I will bang, bang, quick. Let me find out you joined the tournament. You weren't supposed to. Bang, bang, quick. This person is hereby banned from all blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what? For what? And then now, like, the community's gonna do the right thing and be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing over there? And then now that guy's under pressure because he didn't know any better. He was just trying to appeal to people because he wants to build the tournament. He wants more people to come to his tournament. I can't blame that guy. I don't know what the solution is. I said that in one of my tweets as well. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what the best course of action is. I just know that what they're trying to do is rash, lazy, and if they just take a little bit of time to figure a way to like, all right, this is the official FGC schedule for online tournaments for Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, Strive. There are things like that already. There's this guy doing ELO or whatever, and he's supporting a core group of Strive tournaments. I don't know if he's still doing that, but I was talking to that guy because I'm also really into the idea of power rankings and proper seeding. That's not just a TO covering his eyes and moving the names up and down on the screen and hoping to God he gets it right. Like, there should just be a flat, like, this is the current standings as of Q1 of 2025. Here's the Q2 2025. Like, it could just be that simple, but again, I'm dumb. I don't know how to make those. I need to stop saying that. I need to just learn how to do that I know some people that are that smart that don't have the time. I don't know. If I just magically like made time and like really focused on that thing, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I'm sure that there's a TO out there that's smart as fuck and could possibly learn how to do that. And we need people like that. Scorekeepers. We need more in crosses. We need more high fights. We need more in crosses. We need more the best of bonds. We need more. Yo, we need more people like on the ground doing the yucky jobs. And I shouldn't even call it the yucky jobs, because those jobs are dumb important, and they're actually what tells the story around here. We need historians. We need people like actually collecting data, and no one wants to do this shit. They just want to run bracket mad good. Shit is dumb. Shit is OD dumb. Whatever, man. I'm like starting to get sweaty. But yeah, whether I am, in your opinion, right, wrong, indifferent, an idiot, a genius, let me know. This was a fun little stream. I can't lie. Can't lie. I don't want. Get my dumbass face off of here. Yeah. Back to Street Fighter 3 Third Strike Fight for the Future.